Welcome back, everyone, to your podcast, our podcast, the Popular Side Podcast. As always, he's Yinka Yusuf.
Good evening, people.
And I'm Aki Adike. Yinka,
Yes,
we
boss.
have a lot going on today.
We do? Yes,
First,
we do.
we are recording on our usual Sunday. Today is the 4th of May, 2025.
Yes, it
but
is.
You're not in your usual location. You're not in your office.
Yes, I'm not. I'm
You're stealing time in someone else's office.
Yes, I am. I am.
But we're grateful. We're grateful to the someone else. So we'll take it.
Yeah, we're very grateful to the someone else. So I'm still in the internet and the space of someone else.
Yeah.
But this is like second home to me anyway. So
Yeah.
It's still my
Absolutely.
home. It's still my
Absolutely.
home.
You were worried about the connectivity, but honestly, I hear you loud and clear. So I don't want to jinx it, but you look.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, video looks good. Audio sounds good. So long may that continue.
Long may that continue.
Furniture looks nicer than yours, so you need to upgrade, brother.
I tell you, I wish I could. I could cut this one away and take it back with me to my location.
Yeah, just step your game up.
I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna step my game up.
Yeah, step your game up.
And it's as comfortable as it looks too, my brother. It's quite.
I can believe it. I can believe it.
Yeah, it just kind of hugs my back. You
can't stop yourself from rocking back and forth. I
can't stop myself from rocking. I can see my efficiency and my output increase significantly if I had this kind of chair. I
believe you. I believe you.
By rocking alone, all the blockage you have in your head just vanishes.
So what we need to do is get this little side venture to make some money so we can upgrade you.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
so we need good segue to tell our people the usual thing: subscribe, tell people about us across all our platforms. We would really appreciate it. I know. See, guys, don't say we thank God we're okay. Well, we're not that okay. Well, let me speak for myself. I don't know about Aki. Let me speak for myself.
Aki has some news, but go on.
Oh, okay. So we're in the same boat now.
We're in the same boat. Oh my God!
Oh my God! Interesting. Anyway, so Aki, what do we have this week?
Yinka, for the first time in 20 years.
Yes.
Aki doesn't have a job. For the first time.
Why are you?
This is. God.
Why are you outing yourself to the whole world, man? What's wrong with you?
I'm just telling you. So if you know anyone looking for a trusty lawyer, holla at your boy. You
and I know that will not stay this way for long, right?
But
and frankly, if you really wanted to, you won't be in this position. We know that.
That's also true. That's also
true. So stop misleading our listeners as if you're stop it.
But it feels.
Go ahead.
It feels. In case there's someone out there who wants to help me, I need them to know that I need help.
Just so that's true. I agree, that's true. But just so everybody knows that the only reason why we can laugh about this is because it's okay. You get what I mean?
Yeah, it's okay.
It's because it's okay. It's because it's okay.
I slept for 9 hours yesterday. Today's Sunday. I slept for 9 hours. 9 hours and 10 minutes on a Saturday night. I don't remember the last time I did that.
I can imagine.
So it feels good.
I can imagine.
It feels good.
Just enjoy this while it lasts, right?
I'm planning to.
Take Junior and Oinda, indulge them, right?
Yeah.
Because I know this is not gonna last. It's not gonna last.
It's not. It's not.
I know it's not gonna last. but
I've
enjoy
been
it.
to the park. I've been to the park with the boy more times in the past 3 weeks than in the last 6
Wow.
years. So
So just take this as the well-deserved leave,
I
right?
appreciate that.
And just rest, enjoy yourself. I'll only bug you with this joint venture every Sunday, right? Every other day of the week, just
You let me
just
do my
rest.
thing.
Yeah,
I
just
appreciate.
rest. But I know you. You have your
Yeah,
hands
yeah.
dipped in too many things.
This
You
is also
have
true.
you,
This is also true.
so it's not really
One
a
day
leave per se.
we'll talk about the other ventures. When we
Yes, we
have our
will. We will.
non football episode, maybe in the summer
Yes,
after
maybe.
Arsenal lifts the Champions League,
Yeah,
we can talk about that.
we'll talk about life in general, and we answer
Yeah.
silly questions like one gorilla versus 100 men, who will win?
Okay, we have to talk about that. This is how I know men are idiots because the answer is the gorilla. But go on. Even 1,000 men, the answer is the gorilla. The gorilla doesn't get tired. It doesn't matter.
Again, that's the point. That was my argument until one
Yes.
guy who said he knows a lot about animals. He says gorillas actually don't have that much stamina, right? And I was like, really? That's not true. Gorillas are meant to have stamina. The guy is like, no, they get tired easily. So,
Yeah.
based on that, 100 men will win. And I'm like, if you put it that way, then yes. But I thought gorillas don't get tired. So, if my position is
Stamina
wrong,
doesn't matter, right? When you see a disemboweled human body, do you run to gorilla or run back home? That's the question.
no. So, which is my point, yeah. And I kind of agree with you that
Yeah.
there are a lot of conditions, right? Unless those men are fearless, yeah, and that is the determining point because the 100 men at the end of the fight will probably be down to maybe 10 or 5. You get my
Yeah.
point, yeah. But will the 5 remaining, will they be on their heels running away, or will they stay in the fight after they see the gorilla kill like 80% of them? If you get what I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
So I know it's hypothetical, it's silly, yeah.
It's dumb.
And I was saying I was like, there's so many moving parts, yeah, for you to just say. But personally, I thought the gorilla. The first time I heard it, I was like, of course the gorilla will win. But when people started putting in a lot of conditions, I'm like, okay,
No,
maybe.
So the condition they're not talking about is gorillas are gentle. They form lifelong friendships. I read this in the Washington Post today. They form lifelong friendships. They protect their families, and they're gentle and they don't want to fight. But if you come at them, right?
Yeah.
So I think if he grabs one and throws him and breaks that one's back, do others come?
The other 95 are gone. The other 99 are gone.
You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing when people say, "Oh, you're bringing a knife to a gunfight." Right?
Yeah.
You can have 100 people coming at you with a knife, but if I shoot one of you, are you still coming at me with a knife? If I have a gun, it's that simple.
Yeah.
My gun doesn't have to get 100 of you.
All I'm saying is, if all the 100 men are committed and they will not run away from the fight, if the gorilla, stamina-wise, like the guy said, that they get tired easily, if that is the case, then 100 men have a chance. They have a chance. That's it.
Do they get tired easily for their size, or do they get tired easily compared to men?
So I don't. Good point, but I don't know. But I didn't factor that in ab initio. I was like, of course the gorilla will win. Yeah. But anyway, good distraction before we start the main topics.
All right.
Oh my
main
God.
Topic. UCL review. UCL. We have a lot to talk about. So, Yinka, let's start. On Tuesday, like I told you, I wasn't going to watch. It was my last week of employment. I was in a board meeting in Boston. I didn't watch it. I didn't watch it until Wednesday night. And I'll give you my before and after. When everything I read, every video I watched said this was the worst Arsenal performance ever. Odegaard should never play for Arsenal again. This was bad. And then I watched it on Wednesday night. I'm like, and then this is I try to be objective. Some people think I'm not objective. Yinka, some people think I'm not. Before I came here to record, my wife told me I'm not objective, and Yinka is the objective one. I will not tell you what I told her about you. I will not say it in open court. I'm like, Yinka is something, but it's not objective. I won't tell you what the something is, but it equates to fence sitter, you know? So, and I told her that there was a time you stopped being an Arsenal fan, but we'll get into that in the summer, after we win this Champions League. So, Yinka, what I saw was PSG being on top the first, I say objectively 25 minutes. They were on top. They played like the two Liverpool legs, you know?
Yeah.
So, but then the goal in the 4th minute was Rice going to double Kvaratskhelia with Timber. Yeah. Marino not dropping into the hole that Rice left, right?
Yeah.
Kvaratskhelia somehow getting the ball past those two. Back to Dembele. Dembele started the move, by the way. Dembele was a roaming 9, 10, 8.5, everything, as he always is in this configuration. And then Dembele taking a shot that was scuffed, that came off his shin and hit the post and traveled parallel and entered the goal, right?
Yep.
So I'm like,
yep.
And then the last 10 to 15 minutes, they got some chances because Arsenal was chasing the game. In between, I'm like, I didn't see a bad Arsenal. But I wanted to be sure I wasn't crazy, right? So I went to the XG. Arsenal had a higher XG than, I think it was 1.65 to 1.08 or something like that, right? And I'm like, I'm not crazy. Look, Yinka, when we started this podcast, I had a few rants against the Super Eagles and their fans that I call delusional, against Arsenal and their fans that I call delusional. I can be objective. I can say things against my tribe. I am not one of those people, right? But this thing about Arsenal is crazy. Odegaard has not been good. Well, he hasn't been great. And oftentimes he hasn't been good since after his major injury. And he had a baby. Maybe he's not sleeping well. I don't know. But it wasn't the worst. No, but Yinka, I kept looking for the bad plays, for the giving the ball. I'm like, I didn't think it was a bad game. I'm like, where is this coming from? They said he should never play for Arsenal again. They said, Nwaneri should be playing the right 8. But then I remember when Nwaneri came in, they moved Saka into the right 8 and kept Nwaneri on the outside because he's 17. Yep. And the coach is not an idiot, you know? So you start a defensive kid at left back or right back, you know, or offensive on the wings. When their brain grows a little more and they understand the game better, you bring them inside. That's what people do. Lamine Yamal may be a number 10. He may even be a number 9. For now, he's outside where he can do damage without causing damage to your team. Like, this is not news. You know, Ronaldo, Messi, you know, I mean, this is how you've always developed, you know, extremely talented kids that you can't wait for 5 years for them to be fully developed. You need their talent right now. So you put them on the outside where they can cause damage to other teams without causing damage to your team. So, Yinka, that's my take on the Arsenal game. What is yours?
Everything you said, I totally agree with. Yeah. Before I go into the game itself, let me first start with the Arsenal fans and the noise subsequent to the game. I've said this before and I'm going to say it again. It's getting to the point where I'm embarrassed by the position that some people take. Aki, I know people might think I'm just talking about AFTV, but I have AFTV kind of people within my circle too, and the kind of nonsense that they spew. Yeah, the Arsenal, the euphoria and the mood post Real Madrid in comparison to what happened post PSG. I can't understand how somebody can blow hot and blow cold, and there's no context, there's no nuance, it's just Arsenal did not win. The game was a disaster. And to your point, I watched the game live and I was like, that was a fairly balanced game. And the stats, like you said, supports that argument or supports that position. Arsenal had a higher XG. They had 1.6. PSG had 1.1. Arsenal had a clearer chance to score than the one that Dembele scored. Odegaard had a clear chance to score. What's his name? Leandro Trossard. Martinelli. And Trossard. He had a brain fart. That chance, why are you taking it to your left leg? Run straight at the goalkeeper and do the Thierry Henry. That's what I thought he was going to do. But he didn't. Yeah. But these are the margins between winning and not winning in games like this. You have to be clinical. You have to be. There are no two ways about it. You have to be clinical. But in terms of the game, you're right. The first 20 minutes, PSG dominated. And there was a clear shift in strategy for Arsenal. You could see it. And it happened immediately after one of our players feigned injury. And Arsenal and Arteta was able to rally the boys and say, guys, things need to change. And subsequently, PSG's midfield looked. People are saying Odegaard didn't play well. It's because Arteta said, young man, drop into the middle. Yeah. This outnumbering of midfielders that we have, of Fabian Ruiz, of João Neves, of Vitinha, against Merino, who's not played midfield in a long time, and Rice, who is playing out of position. We need more balance. Need you to come into the midfield and let's counter these people. This is why they are having an edge against us. But I saw it. You probably saw it. How come people don't watch the games anymore?
No.
Or which lens? Is it that they're watching the game with a lens?
No.
I don't get it.
It's social media.
When you win, all the rubbish you play, when you win, if you don't play well, it doesn't matter. You celebrate, hey, Arsenal are winning Champions League. Or you lose and you don't play as well. I will even argue that Arsenal played better against PSG than they played against Madrid.
I could see
in the first leg.
I could see it. In the
but
first
because
leg.
you had two free kicks, right? And you had Mbappe missing chances and Vini not scoring when he should have. All of a sudden, you didn't see those lapses then. There's not much difference between the games. Just that you had two brilliant free kicks and you scored a third goal when the team was actually
a great third goal. That was a great third goal. Yeah,
a great third goal. Yeah. But if Martinelli had buried his chance, if Trossard had buried their chances, so is this uproar still going to exist? Do you understand what I'm saying?
And if the Merino goal was not offside, that would have been an equalizer in the 47th minute,
which was quite marginal. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
very.
See, I'm tired of AFTV Arsenal fans in general. And I told you this before. The reason why they are like this is because it's a personal problem. It's not about Arsenal anymore. It's about them. It's about wanting to be right, wanting to banter other people. And I'm like, I'm not like that. There's more to life than football. Yeah? There is. I watched the game. I analyzed the game. Game over. I shut down. I move on to other things. Yeah? I move on to other things. So I can objectively look at things and say, hey, guys, this is what I think. I don't do all this nonsense that these guys do. It's annoying. It's annoying. But anyway, the game itself, Akin, it was a good game of football, right? It could have been 3-3. It could have been 3-2.
3-1.
It could have been 3-1. Either way.
Goalless.
Yeah. It could have been goalless. Yeah. It was an open game of football with two tacticians, punching, counter-punching. Lovely game, in my opinion.
And we thought that was going to happen, right? The tactics part of it. We said it.
We did.
We said it last week.
We said it.
Hey, What's Luis Enrique gonna do? You know, they lost before coming to London. You know, they came to London. They did the, you know, that they decided to do the first press conference, all these mind games, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Now they're doing mind games for the next second leg. They're saying Dembele is injured. I'm like, we know he's going to play.
Yeah.
You know, he may be
injured.
We know
he's going to play.
He may be injured.
But he's going to play.
But honestly, Dembele was kept relatively quiet. He had the sculpt shot. They had two other chances that were better than the goal, than the chance for the goal. The Doué one, that was a great save by Raya.
That one-handed to the right.
Yes, and then
great save.
Gonçalves, what's his name? Their only real number 9 they have.
Ramos. Gonçalo Ramos with the toe poke.
Why he decided to toe poke that ball, I don't, and he still hit the crossbar. That was anything to the right or left is a goal. Anything to the right or left is a goal.
It was the hardest finishing option he chose. Right?
Yes, and
the fact crossbar. That he could even hit the crossbar with a toe poke, and it wasn't. It was like
amazing. It was just weird.
Amazing.
It was weird all along, right? So, but what I would say is, Ramos is their best finisher, right? But there's something about him tactically that Enrique doesn't like, which is why he doesn't play, right? So when people start blaming coaches, Arteta is not the only one that has his, you know, what would I call it? Is idiosyncrasies. You know, why doesn't he play this guy? Why does he overplay this guy? Whatever, right?
Yes.
Everyone has, every great professional has something that makes them look crazy to the outside world.
Yes.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
You got to take the good with the bad. You got to take the good with the bad, you know? So, okay. So,
quick point, Aki, before we move on.
Yeah.
Another point that really, really ticked me off. So after the game, a lot of people came out and said, why didn't Arteta start with Merino up front, move Timber to left back, play Ben White, and play, what was it? Play
Miles Lewis Kelly
Lewis Kelly in midfield.
Yeah.
In midfield, either as holding or left it. And I'm like, in the semi-finals of a Champions League?
Yeah.
Really? Said, why didn't Nwaneri start? Or why didn't Nwaneri play? Why did you play Sterling? I said, you are not in training with these people week in, week out. You don't know whether Ethan has a knock, right? You don't know. The fact that he's on the bench might mean maybe this boy is not fit enough to play. Where is the trust element? None of y'all complained, right, when Arteta chose to play Merino up front, right? Yeah. Because he came on and it was a success. So why don't you just trust the coach to do the right thing? We get on to the EPL again, where they're saying, why did he start? I'm Everybody. Like, what is wrong with you people? Luis Enrique started everybody before the game against Arsenal at Emirates.
He did. And they lost.
Started everybody. And they lost.
And they lost.
So, you guys, I don't get it. I'm just, anyway.
So, Yinka, I'm going to say two things to wrap, because I don't want to overflog this. So, number one, I think I blame social media. I blame social media. I blame the debate shows. I blame you own this person, you own that person. And then, it's banter. And then debate shows, you must argue A, I must argue B. We can never be in agreement. Like you and I doing this show, we agree like 90% of the time,
Absolutely.
But maybe that's why we don't have 10,000 followers. Maybe we need to stop. maybe you know what I'm saying? Because people don't want.
Maybe we need to pre-plan that at the meeting. You say this, I say this.
Yeah.
Let's.
It's crazy. So, but I think that's the number one problem. And then number two is, for me, we have to stay humble. Right? I know it's not about harkening back to the past, but I'm like, without financial doping, when was the last time 8th place, 5th place team won the league and won the Champions League in the 5 years after that? It just doesn't happen. I love this team. This team is really hard to break down and really hard to beat, right? But a lot of things need to happen for this team to become the best team in Europe, which is what we're asking them to do. We're asking them to win their domestic league against a financial doper and against a really good team, Liverpool, that is 10 years ahead in the process. Let's be real. They're 10 years ahead in the process. And that had excellent health for the whole season, you know? But the main problem is the financial doper, right? So, and then we're used to people just magically having 2 first teams. No, only the cheats have 2 first teams. Most clubs do not have 2 first teams. For most clubs, when someone is injured, there's a drop-off, right? And at most clubs, the best players will play 55 times a season because there's a drop-off if they sit. So this is normal to me, right? I don't go into my life just, waiting for the other shoe to drop or thinking something bad is good. That's not how I live my life. So I don't watch sports that way. I don't watch Bukayo Saka and saying, when is he going to get injured? No. I just want the coach to be smart, give him, for me, it's more like play him, take him off after 60 minutes or after 65. That's how you get the rest, And some days he doesn't play at all. I'm okay with that. Right? But Messi played every game. Messi gets upset when he doesn't play. Ronaldo played 65 games a season. Messi didn't score 92 games a year by playing 2 matches. He played 100 to score his 92. You know what I'm saying? And it's fine. His ligaments are not shattered. It's okay. So clearly Arsenal's renaissance, right, relied on Martinelli and Saka continuing to develop. We talked about this. Like, hey, every year when you predict where Arsenal is going to go, you have to think about another 5%, another 10% from Martinelli and Saka, defensively and creatively, right? Odegaard, this same Odegaard that they want to flog was player of the season 2 years in a row. It wasn't Saka. Saka hasn't been player of the season in 3 years. So when Arsenal has been the best team or the second best team in England twice in a row, Odegaard was their player of the season. So, and now you want him gone because he had the audacity to get injured? Because he had the someone even said maybe that's why Real Madrid didn't want him. Someone even said that, Yinka. Someone even said that. Oh, maybe that's why. Maybe they know that he's not one for the big games.
Okay, you know what? Let's just put a pin in this balloon. Okay. Arsenal fans will rile you up, right? Let's go to the more interesting game of Barca and Inter. Did you watch that?
And I watched highlights. No, sorry. This was the one on Wednesday. I watched it. Sorry.
Okay.
I watched it. Okay. I watched this one from beginning to the end, from the first minute plus the pre-game and everything. I watched everything. Sorry. Yinka?
Yes, sir.
Barca lucky to get a draw against Inter Milan? And before you answer, right? I remember when the game started, they went down 0-1. Barca were at home. They went down 0-1. Then they went down 0-2. And in my opinion, those 2 goals, oh my gosh, what? You know what I mean? Like the Thuram, look, we both like Thuram, but there's nobody putting 150 million pounds on the table to buy Thuram, as much as we like him. Right? Yeah. As much as we like him. If you're debating the best French out and out strikers, some people will say Kolo Muani is better. I don't agree, but some people will say it.
Some people will,
But the last 2 things he's done. I mean, the assist to Martinez in the previous round, and then this thing, nonchalance. Come on. Okay. And then, you remember and then the second goal, Dumfries. Oh my God. And I'm ashamed of myself because when we did the Gilbert episode, and it was arguing that what's his name? Timber was not the best right back in the world, but it was naming attacking right backs. Dumfries can attack, but it's primarily a defender. It's primarily and it's big and it's strong and it's tall and it's experienced.
And it's strong. Yes.
You know? But I did not see that coming. I did not see that. What do you even call it? Is that a scissors kick? Half a scissors kick? You know?
Half scissors. Yeah.
Anyway, you can take it away. It was unbelievable.
Okay, so the funnest part of this is Inter's 3 goals, right? Yeah. Were half chances, if I can put it that way. All of them. Their XG for that goal marking was less than 1. It was 0.91.
That's crazy.
So that back flick, the Dumfries header and the Dumfries, all of them were. The Dumfries' 3rd goal is the reason why we have 0.9. If it was just the first 2 goals, the XG will be way in the 0.3s or 0.4s because the goal expectancy for the first 2 goals, it was just pure individualism, fantastic goals. Yeah? Now, I can have said this before about Barca. A lot of people say Rafinha is the lifeline of Barca. I think it's Lamine Yamal. I've said this. I've told you this. I don't get the hype behind Rafinha's Ballon d'Or. People just look at stats and they say, "Oh, based on these stats, he has the highest number of goals contribution. Is the best player in Barca." That's a lie. Lamine Yamal. You know that before the game, I told you I saw some things on Twitter from legit Twitter accounts that suggested that he had a knock and he wasn't going to play.
Yeah. No, the commentator said you know it as well. Yeah.
They said it. I didn't even hear that. I didn't hear that.
Yeah, they did.
Right. So so he said it's fine. I'll play. So as all through the game, I was watching. I was particularly focused on him. Akin, for a 17-year-old to deliver that and grab the whole team and pull them through that tough period. Come on, man.
It was unbelievable.
Come on, man.
It was unbelievable.
It was unbelievable. The only reason why Barca came back in that game is Lamine Yamal. Nothing else. It's Lamine Yamal. That first goal, the close control, the confidence, that's a 17-year-old Akin.
Yeah.
That's a 17-year-old man.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable, bro. So for me, Lamine Yamal is in a different world of his own. Yeah. Now, the second half, Akin, I was shocked. Let me tell you why I was shocked. I know I told you this on our group. Yeah. Barca started playing a high line. Surprisingly. And it was like every counter-attack that Inter had, they were going to score. And I'm like, what's wrong with you people? It's 3-3. There's a next game to play for. What are you doing?
DNA, Inca. It's DNA.
Barca don't but do they typically play high lines? They don't. Do they?
No, but that's what their coach really wants to do. That's his happy place.
My heart was in my mouth all through the game because I have a soft spot for Barca.
Yeah, same.
Real Madrid, I don't like.
That's my second team.
I have a soft spot for Barca. Yeah. So when Inter scored a 4th goal that was ruled out because it was offside. It was marginal, and I'm like, why are you doing this? 3-3, 4-3 doesn't matter at this point. Just manage the game. Don't concede.
Yeah.
Manage the game. Don't concede. You have a second leg to play.
Home?
No. So they're going to Inter.
You mean Barcelona? Sorry. You mean Barcelona?
I mean Barcelona. So I'm like, why are you playing the high line? Inter were soaking in the pressure and they were hitting them on the counter. But Barca kept on playing. I'm like, this is dangerous for you. This is dangerous. And this is a Barca team that don't have... De Jong is not really a defensive midfielder. Can he play defensive midfield? Yes. He's a deep line playmaker. He's not a defensive midfielder per se. You don't have a shield in your back four. Your back four is not the strongest. Right? It will hurt you more if Inter scored the 4th. Barca don't need to play a high line to score goals. You can hold on to the ball and still create chances, which they did. I don't understand the high line. They were like, it was like I was watching Ange Postecoglou and Spurs, do their nonsense, and I'm like, that was very dangerous. It was very, very risky. They're lucky. I'm not gonna say it didn't pay off or it paid off. I don't know, because it ended up 3-3. Yeah. But it was a beautiful game of football. Lamine Yamal, best player on the pitch by a mile. Yeah, by a mile. It wasn't even close. That boy is something else. Akin, if he continues to grow, and we've said this before, I don't think we've seen a 17-year-old play this well. Yeah?
Nope.
We might have to go back to Pele, which we didn't watch.
We didn't watch him
at 17. It was a phenom. Exactly. Messi wasn't this good at 17. If this young man continues to grow at the same pace that Messi grew, world football should watch out. That's all I'm going to say. That's all. Take it away.
Okay, so I think Lamine Yamal can still get better, which is scary if you think about it. Now, there isn't a real defensive part to his game, but as hopefully, is with the right coach and they can develop that part of his game or whatever. He can be an even better playmaker. But where is already, in my opinion, elite right now, his finishing is stupid. His movement is stupid. I don't know if you saw, I think this was actually not this game. That was in the Copa, where his what's his name? Your guy, Rafinha, should have passed this 2 different times. Rafinha should have passed to him. But ordinarily, why are you even there? How did you make that run to be in a position that Rafinha should pass to you? You shouldn't be doing that at 17. So the kid he has world-class finishing already. He has world-class movement already. He has a world-class reading of the game already. Like, he already has that. If he gets stronger, because he will get stronger. A friend of mine sent a picture of Lamine Yamal during COVID. It looked like a child. It looked like he was 9 years old. He's 17 now, so it would have been 12 at the time. But it literally, so that, just to give you context, because we still think COVID was a couple years ago. It was 5 years ago. So where was he 5 years ago? So he's had his growth spurts or whatever, but he's still a child. You should have seen him when he joined the CBS guys. After the game and everything. He's a child. Henry was just like, I don't even know where to go. I don't even know what to say, because this guy is amazing. But Yinka, there's two places we need to go. First, we go back to Arsenal PSG. So for PSG Arsenal on Wednesday, who's gonna win? Let's do quick predictions.
Okay, so for me, my heart still stays with Arsenal. Yeah.
Okay.
I think that game was too close to call. I think it's going to be a close game again. It might even go into extra time. But I don't think PSG are going to mop the floor with Arsenal. Right.
Okay.
That's how I feel. I think Arsenal can still pull it off. So I'm still sticking to my pick of Arsenal. Yes, is that biased? Probably it is, but the game wasn't that. I don't think the game was that, it could have ended, like we said, it could have ended 3-3, 3-1, 3-2, either way, So I'll pick Arsenal. I'm still picking Arsenal to win.
Inter Barca on Tuesday.
That's a tough one. And I'm still gonna go with Barca.
Okay.
I'm still gonna go with Barca.
Okay, so
I'm gonna go with Barca.
One thing about PSG Arsenal, right? The one thing I was looking for in the last 2 games with Arsenal is what kind of runs are people making? What kind of drives, is Arsenal, whether it's coming off or not. Because in my mind, they have a week to work it out, right? Yeah. So I know we're still going to talk about the league. So when I was watching Arsenal versus Bournemouth, I saw some runs that Rice was making. I saw runs through the midfield that MLS was making. And I'm like, I get what they're trying to do. I get what they're trying to do. You know, they're overloading that left-hand side. So it's not just Martinelli, right? Now it's Martinelli and it's Rice. And they kept making that run and they kept making that run. And that was also where they were the most dangerous against Donnarumma. So now they just need to finish their dinner, you know? So that, Saka is going to do what Saka does. Is a wild card. He's always going to do that. You know, Odegaard would not have as bad a game in my opinion, but you never know. But I think Marino is going to start up front on Wednesday, and that Rice and Martinelli, you know, doubling up, I think is a thing. So honestly, if anyone if either team is going to score 2 goals, I think it's going to be Arsenal over PSG, just because of that. And when I think about the noise in the stadium, honestly, I thought the visiting fans were louder than the home fans in London.
They were.
Yeah.
They were. And
so the noise is not going to be different.
Someone... Aki, let me cut you short. This is a funny story.
One of the guys on
YouTube said he doesn't understand why, for this kind of games, that they are not prioritizing the kind of fans they're giving tickets to. That he saw a couple, right, that it was like they were on a date to the Arsenal game. It was like, we don't need people to be on dates here. We need people that are coming to make noise, to shout, because they are rabid. Because you guys know, I've been to PSG Stadium before, right? Akin, the Ultras, the PSG Ultras, it's a different ball game, man.
Yeah.
These guys don't even watch the game. They just
they don't care.
The noise is something else. It is something else, right? And they brought that same atmosphere to the Emirates. So that corner, and if you notice, they gave their away fans, they gave them more tickets. I mean, they usually give them more tickets in the Champions League than the League.
Champions League,
So there were more fans, and they had to create a demarcation between the Arsenal fans. If you see the game, there was a red, clear demarcation. You could see that place was jumping all through the game. And the rest of the pitch was anxious, right? Yeah. And I'm like, this is not what you need. So don't worry, it's going to be a different ball game in Spain. I expect Arsenal to come to the table to deliver. So we see how that goes.
So for Inter against Barca, I think the confidence with which Inter prosecuted and executed that first leg tells me they're going to scale through. I think Barcelona obviously can, but again, just because of how complete this Inter team are, how dangerous they are at home. If they score one more goal, it's over. If Inter score one more goal, it's over. My take was always that Inter were the most complete team left. Barca were the best team left. So it's the most complete versus the best. It's 3-3. I think anything can happen. My heart still says Barcelona. But I wouldn't be sure. I think if Inter scores, I think Barcelona is chasing on the road. I think Inter will win. But if Barcelona scores first, I think it's over. They may even score 2 or 3. But I think this is a great. Go on.
I think the universe is just pointing us towards an Arsenal Barca Champions League final for both men and women.
Yes,
for both men and women.
That's it. That's
what I think. That's what I.
Okay.
That's how I feel.
That's what I want.
Because Arsenal's path is similar. Is very similar. Arsenal male's path is very similar to the female path. Right?
Yeah.
They both knocked out Real Madrid in the quarterfinal. They both played the French side in the semi-final. Lyon beat Arsenal female at the Emirates. Arsenal female went to Lyon and they trashed them 4-1. Yeah. And they're now playing Barcelona in the finals. Something tells me that's what's going to happen. I hope I'm right. But I just have a funny feeling that's what's going to happen. Anyway, we can move on.
From your lips to God's ears.
Yes, sir.
Okay. let's move on.
Amen.
So there's again another great segue. We got a question from my brother-in-law about the away goals rule. What are the pros and cons of removing the away goals rule? Now, this was something the CBS guys asked Dumfries, right? Like, hey, how does it feel to come into this hostile environment, score 3 goals, and go back home with no advantage whatsoever? Does it feel fair to you?
Yeah.
Right? So, what's your take on this, Yinka?
And what was their response?
It was like, it is what it is, like that's the rule. It is what it is, Yeah, anyone can score anywhere, kind of thing, whatever, it is what it is.
So I can here's the thing, yeah.
If
it wasn't for away goals rule that they removed, we wouldn't even have 3 goals.
That's the thing.
We won't have 3 goals. People will not come with openness to play. People will be cagey. Everybody will be playing defensive football. That's what happens.
Yeah.
That's what happened. See, when we had away goals, have you ever seen a 3-3? Have you ever?
It's hard.
Do you see open games like this?
It's hard.
It was almost impossible.
Yeah.
Almost all the teams that won came in and they provided defensive masterclasses. We just want somebody making a mistake for the other time for that side to score. I love football too much for me to be. Those things were more or less. It was a torture to watch back then. It wasn't about the game anymore. It was about don't lose. Or do you understand? Which wasn't, in my opinion, it wasn't. I don't know. I didn't. Like it. Yeah. So if you ask me what are the pros, go ahead, Aki.
No, finish up. Sorry.
So if you ask me what are the pros, right? It's simple. There's better football. There's more goals. There's open game. People are willing to attack. People are not sitting on their leads, right? So because they know that you don't have an edge if you score away from home. Yeah? So even the home team plays with more, with more confidence, with less pressure, right? And it makes the game better. It makes the game a lot more open. Yeah. And I don't know what is so special about an away goal that you counting it as 2 goals.
I do.
A goal is a goal.
I do.
I don't. I'm sorry.
I do. So
I'm sorry.
This is where the context and nuance matters. You have to go back 50 plus years, right? So remember, we didn't always have charter flights. We didn't always have private jets. Right? So traveling into, away situations used to be more treacherous, right? Referees were worse, if you can believe it, than they are today, right? People come into your hotel and banging pans all night, not letting you sleep, food poisoning, deliberate food poisoning at your hotel, trying to get you to be late. For your convoy to be late to the stadium, not giving you security or whatever it is, all kinds of shenanigans, right? Like the stuff that happens in Africa till this day. That was what it was like 50 years ago in Europe, right?
Yeah.
And so a home advantage was a true home advantage. It was a true home advantage. Someone is traveling on commercial or whatever it is, and it was harder. So they're like, okay, if you can come in with all that and you score a goal. I'm not saying that was the best solution for it, but it was a thing. It was harder to score at home. To score away, sorry. Yeah.
I hear you, but it knocks each other out, doesn't it? So do you understand? I score away goal, you score away goal. Once that happens, it knocks each other out. If you get what I mean.
So they're saying if you can score an away goal, you're the better team.
But it knocks each other out.
Yeah, you're the better
That's what
team.
I'm saying.
The person who can score the away goal is the better team. That's what they're saying.
I score away goal at your end, you score at mine.
But most times it doesn't happen that way. Most times one party scores the away goal.
All I'm saying is the evidence is right there for all of us to see.
Yeah, no, I'm with
which
you.
Which games do you prefer? Right? We saw games between Arsenal and Liverpool and Chelsea that were horrible to watch until the the second leg was always the better game than the first leg, because now they know we don't have a choice. We have to go all out. Then you will see. So why can't I have the second leg, the kind of games that I only see in second legs in the old scenario? Why can't I see that on both legs? The first leg was always a drab. It was tough to watch. Especially during the Mourinho era. Mourinho made it so horrible. Oh my God.
The first leg is like what finals of major tournaments have become. Right? So finals of major tournaments right now are like do no evil.
Exactly.
Right, do no evil.
It's not you winning the game anymore. It's you not losing the game.
Don't lose it.
So Akin, to now tell you everything that you said about this away goals rule. This is what annoys me the most. Once you now finish 90 minutes, the away goals rule vanishes.
You now go to extra time. You now go to extra time.
So if you score, then it doesn't count as a away goal rule. If you score after 90 minutes. So what happened to all the
what before or now?
Yes, before.
What? No, no. Wait. You mean in the second leg? That's what you're saying.
In the second leg, yes. Got it. If it's draw, then after 90 minutes, if you score, the away goal rule vanishes. So then you now be like, so what? I
thought it still applied. We might have to check this.
No, you can't. No, once it's 90,
did they change
we can
that?
double check.
Yeah.
No,
did they change it at some point?
Once it's 90 minutes, a goal doesn't count.
I didn't know that.
Once you enter injury time. In the old era,
it doesn't count as double. Maybe it doesn't count as double.
It doesn't count as double anymore. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
It doesn't count as double anymore. But it's still the same away scenario, isn't it? It's still the same horrible fans. It's the same home advantage. Why is it not counting after 90 minutes?
You get 90
Come
minutes.
Come on now.
Okay.
But you see what I'm saying now.
I get it.
But I think those are, in my opinion, those are the pros, right? Now, I was trying to think of what are the cons
of removing it,
of removing it, and frankly, I struggled to get any.
No, but it's right in front of you. It's right in front of you,
which is what you said. What you said. But
it's Inter scoring 3. When was the last time Barcelona conceded 3 goals? Period. Not in Europe, just period. At home.
Boakin. When don't you love seeing goals? You were just gushing about the goals now.
You're
just gushing about the goals now.
But I'm saying
Henry saying that they scored 3 goals and there's no advantage. I'm like, no.
They're going home with no advantage.
But you considered 3 goals. Why should you go home with any advantage? That's the way I see it.
but you're on the road.
You consider 3 goals. So when you get to your house too, try not do the same thing. It's that simple. Let's just enjoy the game.
Let it be
open. Let it be open. Let's enjoy the game, and anyway.
So for me, I feel like everyone knows the rules, right?
Yes.
And this is where nuance and context matters, right? So whatever the rule is, that's what you design for. That's what you play to. Right? So, if there's away goals, you adapt. If there's no away goals, you adapt, So that's why before you can't just look at stats, like context matters. I guess that's the point.
So but we've answered this before, just to double check. Which one do you prefer?
The current one by far.
Okay, yeah.
By far.
It's not even close.
by far. No, by far. Like it's like
by far.
You can. I feel like progressive coaches can have a plan to win each leg.
Absolutely.
Instead of having a plan not to lose.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You know the number of away goals people have scored? Arsenal went to PSV and put 7 past them.
Yeah.
You think that would have happened in those days?
No. No. So they won the tie in one leg.
In one leg.
Yeah. And frankly, they did the same thing for Real Madrid, but okay.
Exactly. So then it was like Champions League games felt like in cricket there are different types of games, kind of. That's what it felt like. It felt like a different kind of football game altogether. That it was just too cagey. There wasn't fun. The tension was just too much. I remember watching those Chelsea-Barcelona games. Chelsea had no interest in playing. No interest in playing.
Yeah.
And Barcelona would just be trying to penetrate, and Chelsea would be like, no, not go score for this place. Not today. That was a toucher for me. I don't like games like that. I'm sorry. Anyway.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna propose. We're leaving the UCL. Thank you for that. We've already done the prediction, so we're gonna skip that topic. So I'm gonna propose that in the interest of time, we do a league review, which we're gonna do, and our worthy mentions, which we're gonna do as like rapid fire, right?
Fantastic.
Not quite rapid, not quite like one word or one sentence, but like just keep it short, if we can.
That's fine.
So
works for me.
We're gonna start with the EPL again.
Yes, sir.
Keeping up with that theme of people being ridiculous, right? Arsenal are now being blamed because Arsenal might lose their second position. So my take on this is, why do you now suddenly care about second place? That's number one. And two, they're still 3 points ahead of City. 3, when I told everybody not to write City off, they told me to shut my mouth. And now that City are consistent again and are doing what I said they were going to do, you come back and use City to bludgeon Arsenal? I'm like, I expected them to win the league. So I'm sorry. I never bought into this City. Look, they had their malaise. It lasted.
You didn't expect City to win the league?
I expected Arsenal to win the league, and I expected City to be who they pip to win the league. Sorry. I misspoke. Yeah. Right? So for me, I'm like, this is who I thought Arsenal was going to beat to win the league. So, where all of a sudden are we shocked that they might topple? What are we doing? Anyway, so Yinka, the question here is, will Arsenal lose second position? I'm not interested in this at all. But I'll let you go.
Okay, so so what if that question is flipped to say, will Arsenal lose Champions League position?
It's insane. It's an insane question because 5 teams are going into the Champions League. So you're saying Arsenal are going to finish 6th in the league? It's stupid. I'm sorry.
So there are 3 games left. Oh, calm down now. Your blood to be cold, and I like setting you up. Right? Okay. So there are 3 games. There are 3 games left in the season. Arsenal are 7 points clear of They put the team in 6th place right now, which is Nottingham Forest, but they have a game in hand. If, let's say, they win, they get on to 63 points. That means the 4th, 5th, and 6th team will be 4 points behind Arsenal.
Okay.
Arsenal's last 3 games is away to Liverpool, home to Newcastle, and away to Southampton. A lot of people believe away to Liverpool and home to Newcastle are banana pills, and Arsenal will lose both games, right? Hold on now. See, this is.
I didn't say
I'm
anything.
the messenger here.
I didn't say anything. Keep going.
Let me finish. Right, and if that happens, and Arsenal's last game of the season away to Southampton, and they have to go there to win that game, that your team will be jittery again. So Arsenal might potentially lose the last 3 games of the season. I'm sorry, this is a sincere analysis. I'm just, I'm asking you because you're the one that gets triggered by this. Yeah. And they're saying if that then happens, there's a possibility that Chelsea, who beat Liverpool today, Newcastle, who dropped points today where they shouldn't have, and Manchester City can topple Arsenal, and Arsenal might then be faced with Europa League next season. So, what do you think?
So, I think this will not happen. I think if it happens, you should expel me from PSP and find someone else to do it. Yeah, I think this is dumb on so many levels. Right? I think this is so dumb on so many. And I think there's a fatalism that people traffic in that I refuse to traffic in. Right? So, Man U fans are so disillusioned and everything else with their club that they're like, what's the next best thing I can do? They can't make fun of Liverpool because they just won the league. So they focus on their other rival, Arsenal, right? And they want to bring Arsenal down. But again, Arsenal is on a journey, right? I'm a very patient man, right? Like, because I remember the last time Arsenal were in the semi-finals of a Champions League was 2009 against Man U, and we looked like the school team of USS versus a professional team.
Yes.
You know, I remember what's the name of the left back? Not Clichy, not Glishy, the other one.
Sylvester.
No. Arsenal black kid, academy kid, left back for Arsenal.
Ashley Cole.
No, young Ben. You know, he got taken apart.
Oh, I remember the guy. The black belter.
Yeah, he came to the US. He played for Inter Miami before.
Yes. I remember him. Forgotten his name. Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Kudos to that guy for his career not dying after that game. It was bad. It was terrible. It was 4-1. Okay, it was men against. It was the first of several times that Man U versus Arsenal was men against boys. So I remember that. And I remember that wasn't even the lowest point of Arsenal. And I remember all the low points. So I'm like, I refuse to be fatalistic about this. I'm enjoying the hell out of this moment. I don't care about the haters. I'm like, no. So it is not going to happen. One, Arsenal being jittery against Southampton. Are you serious? That's number one. Liverpool, I always said Arsenal will go to Anfield and beat Liverpool. I always said that. And it's so funny to me because this should have been a great run-in for both Liverpool and Arsenal. Think about it. Liverpool played Chelsea today. They would have played Arsenal in 2 weeks. All of these were supposed to be, you know, that would have been a great run-in. It would have been a tough run-in for Liverpool. But guess what? Arsenal ran 12 points behind where they were last season and handed the title over to Liverpool. So there was no running, you know. Now, would Liverpool have gone to Chelsea today if they had something on the line and lost to Chelsea? I don't know. I think they would not have lost to Chelsea. I think that would have been at least a draw if this was a real if the title chase was still happening. So I'm like, I always expected Arsenal to go to Anfield and win the game. I still do. And as much as people want to big up Newcastle, how many times do they come to the Emirates in the league and win? Bournemouth, that everybody's talking about, they had lost 7 times to Arsenal at home before winning yesterday. And I'm sorry, it was 2 freak corner kick goals or whatever it is. What do you call them? Set piece goals. I'm like, what are we doing? You know, so I don't know. The answer is no. It's not going to happen. And this is a dumb question. I hate it. Go on, you got it.
Okay. So I agree with you. I don't think it's going to happen. And the simple reason is these guys still play each other. You understand? Right? So Newcastle still play Nottingham Forest. Chelsea play everybody. They still have games against each other.
It's ridiculous.
You have that 4 points over 3 games. I don't see Arsenal losing 3 games in a row, right? I don't. Yeah. Worst case, draws. But I think this was what Arteta was also trying to avoid. He wanted a situation where the Champions League position is sorted, right? And they can then go into that game on Wednesday with, you know what, an open mind. Yeah. But right now, the next weekend's game against Liverpool, is it Liverpool first? I think it's Liverpool first,
sure.
then Newcastle, then Southampton. Yeah. So they're going to Anfield next. Yeah. So either way, the euphoria or the tiredness of winning or not winning and or whatever the outcome of the midweek game is, you already have a thin squad. So you're going to go to Anfield with, it's just the same thing that happened to the Arsenal ladies after they beat Lyon. They came back home and they were spanked by Aston Villa 5-2. Yeah. Do you understand? So it's either you're tired, the euphoria, blah, 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 blah. I'm chalking that Anfield game down as a loss, personally. I think Arsenal would lose at Anfield.
I think a loss would be dangerous because Liverpool have nothing to play for. So your professional pride should. I mean, Chelsea had something to play for today. That's why they won. They're not better.
That's why Liverpool. They won.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But I'm just saying, I get that kind of situation.
Yeah.
And Liverpool, nothing to play for. They'll be free. If they lose or win, big deal.
Doesn't matter.
Arsenal will be a lot more. Do you understand? So I will be happy, but I'll be shocked if Arsenal don't lose that game. And I'm saying this, I'm putting this in context because of the Newcastle game, blah, 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 blah. So then that means there will be pressure on that Newcastle game is where the main pressure is. Newcastle has been a banana peel for Arsenal this season.
Yeah.
Arsenal they've lost every single game to Newcastle this season.
3 times, yeah.
Yeah? Exactly. So but even if that happens, Akin, all Arsenal need is a win and their Champions League. A win across any of the last 3 games and their Champions League slots is. Southampton are relegated already. Arsenal will now go to Southampton and lose. It's not going to happen.
What are we talking about?
And frankly, if City even overtake Arsenal, I tell people, just like you said, who then cares? Y'all were the people that are saying, oh, this, that. Now, all we want is Champions League. Who cares? Now you care. All I cared about is Champions League anyway. If you ain't going to win the trophy, there's no prize for second. Well, the cash you get from the UPL is slightly higher. I get that. But then Arsenal has more than made up for that. Going to the semi-finals of the Champions League, they've made way more than they can imagine this season.
Yeah.
The revenues have significantly increased this season because of the progress in the Champions League.
So I think league position matters. I think Liverpool came into this season feeling good about themselves because in spite of the injuries of last season, they secured 3rd. That was a significant thing for them, right? They could have laid down and died. They had the distraction. Yes, you can say again, you can look at it one of 2 ways. They were leading by 5 points in January. Failure, they didn't win the league. Or they had the distraction of the leak of the coach leaving, that they had that distraction in the second half of the season. They had all the injuries, to top players, and they still secured 3rd. Your choice. It's up to you how you want to run it.
It's up to you. Yeah. But I'm not worried about this. I just kind of summarize this because this was the discussion we had on our group, right? Before, remember. This was, and you were wasting time responding. I just ignored. At this point,
it's unbelievable.
I don't have time.
It's unbelievable.
I don't have time. Anyway, we said quick fire now. We didn't quick fire that
not
one.
quick
so
fire. You can't do better. Do better.
You do better.
Okay. Okay. La Liga. Inka, is La Liga going down to the wire? Give us your quick take.
Whoever wins El Clasico. I think Barca are 4 points ahead, I think it's 4.
I believe so.
Yeah?
I'm going to check, but keep going.
That El Clasico matters, yeah? I don't see Madrid winning it, right? I think Barca will.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the game that would decide whether it's going to the wire or not. Yeah? Barca started off today's game with their B team, then they were losing, and they had to bring in the big guns.
The Giants.
And they ended up winning 2-1. Madrid won 3. They were needing 3-0. Then all of a sudden, Celta Vigo almost equalized. The game ended 3-2. So I don't think it's not going to the wire. It's going to the El Clasico, which is a week or 2 away. I think. I'm not even sure anymore.
It was 10 days from. It might be the next match. Okay, it's early May. It might be the next match.
Okay. Yeah. Let's quickly confirm that.
I think it was 2 weeks from the Copa final.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So that's the game that will decide. Yeah. Akin, you're right. It's next week Sunday. It's 11th of May.
Yeah.
It's next week Sunday. Right? So it's not going to the wire. It's going to that game, right? I think Madrid will lose that game. I think and then the season will be over. But what do you think?
So there's a couple things. The first tiebreaker in La Liga is head-to-head. I don't see, even if Madrid beats Barca, at Barca's, replacement stadium, not the Camp Nou. I don't see them erasing a 4-goal deficit. So I don't think it's going to happen. If they do, you look at the next tiebreaker, right? The goals difference right now, Barcelona plus 58, Real Madrid plus 36. They've both conceded 33. One has scored 91. The other has scored 69. It's not even close.
So basically, what you are saying is Barca need to lose 2 games for Madrid to win the league.
This is over, and the golfing class between Barcelona and the rest of the league is too much. It's just too much. It's too much. So I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening. I'm
looking at the table and I'm trying to see if there's any banana peel for Barcelona. Let's even assume Real Madrid pip. If they win that game, it becomes a 1-point lead. If Barca drop points again, right? So let me just read out the games, for Barcelona, and you just tell me whether you think that's a problem for them or not.
Go for it. So go for it.
Next, the El Clasico is the next match. We've talked about that one. Then after that, they're away to Espanyol. I think that's a win for Barca.
Oh, but Espanyol is a derby. Just remember that.
I think that's a win for Barca.
Okay,
but I might be wrong though. I think that's a win for Barca. Then they are home to Villarreal. That could be a problem. Villarreal are a decent side.
They will win it. It's home.
Then the next one, which is the final game of the season, they are away to Atletico Bilbao.
Yeah, away. That's a tough
one. That is a tough one. And on Madrid side, they're after the Clasico on the 11th, the game they have, the game after the Clasico is home to Mallorca. That's a 3-pointer. That's a banker. Then they have away to Sevilla. That could be a problem for them. Then the last game of the season, they are home to Real Sociedad.
And remember the cup that went into like however many extra time and all that with Sociedad. Yeah. Sociedad might have something for them. Real will be home though. So I don't think that's guaranteed. Right now, I would much rather be Barcelona. But honestly, knowing these two clubs, right now, Barcelona do not believe they can lose to Real Madrid. They took them for granted in the Copa final. Before the match, during several stages of the match, they mismanaged that final so many times and still won. And it didn't even go to PKs. The confidence, they just don't, they believe they're superior to Real Madrid right now.
I agree.
They have, I would say it's irrational confidence, but it may actually be rational at this point.
I totally agree with you.
So let's see.
So, Clasico decider. Let's see. But I think Barca wins it.
I think that's it. Once they win that, it's over. Yeah. And if they draw it, it might still be over. All right. Yinka, I think Bundesliga is now over.
Is that over?
We had the table open, 76 to 68. That's 8 points. It's over.
The Kane curse is over. Congratulations to Harry Kane. And that happened because Bayern Leverkusen failed to beat Freiburg earlier on today.
Yeah.
But it was just a matter of time. It was meant to happen. Congratulations to Bayern Munich. I'm sure they will now go ahead to win the double. They're in the finals of the DFB Pokal, I think. If they get a double, it will be silly for the hierarchy at Bayern to fire company. Yeah. So
I don't think they'll fire him. I know you keep saying it. I don't think they'll fire him.
Yeah, I might be agreeing with you now, right? I don't think they'll.
Because you know why? You know why?
Why?
He's gonna finish with the best defense in the league. Right now, they've played 32 times. Again, to remind our listeners and audience, the Bundesliga is the only top 5 league with only 18 teams. So you only play 34 times. They've played 32. There's only 2 matches to go, right? They've scored 93 times. The next best, you have to do the math, is Leverkusen, who have scored 28 times. That's a difference of 25 goals scored, right? If my math is right, that's 25. Okay. and they've conceded 5 fewer. The next best, they've considered 32. The next best is also Leverkusen with 37. Leverkusen and St. Pauli with 30. That's bizarre. St. Pauli is all the way in 14.
So the goals difference between Bayern and Bayer is 31. So plus 61.
30,
so 30.
61,
plus 61 and plus 31. That's 30.
I mean, that for me, that's a complete domination. Coming from where they were, if any other manager, if the manager from last season did that to this season, they will keep their job this season. You know what I'm saying?
So Akin, here's my point.
Yeah.
Here's my point. Bayern, this is base level. This is what they expect.
I understand.
What they want is Champions League success.
I know.
And the fact that Company was their 8th option, we counted 1 to 7. Remember, if any of those 1 to 7 becomes available this season, do you really? I'm just worried for the dude. That's all I'm saying.
I'm worried too. But
if they win the double, I think it will be. I think they don't have enough to justify replacing him.
But Yinka, what great manager is about to be available?
You never know.
No. Let's think about it. Klopp is never going there. Can we agree on that?
You never know.
Klopp is never going there. Alonso has already turned them down once.
Alonso is going to Madrid.
I think Klopp is going to Madrid, but we can keep.
Alonso is going to Madrid.
I think Klopp is going to Madrid. Going to Madrid.
Alonso is Spanish. He played for Madrid. His father played for Madrid. He's understudied Pep. What's his name? Mourinho. I will be shocked if they don't pick Alonso.
Yinka, I don't think you appreciate enough the damage that Barcelona is doing to Real Madrid this season. I don't think you appreciate that enough. For your arch rival to score 4 goals against you every time you turn up. I mean, the psychological damage, Barca are like single-handedly messing up this team. All these tantrums they're throwing is because of Barcelona. It's because of Barcelona. So they will get their own German. You see, they're not giving this to someone who is unproven. And if this was last season, you can say, oh, this guy's proved himself. But coming back out, against another rookie coach and doing this with Leverkusen is gonna tell Real Madrid that he's not ready.
Yeah.
And Real Madrid, they don't do nuance, Yinka. They don't do nuance. Trust me. They don't. But we'll see. We'll come back here and we'll play this thing. Okay, so congratulations, Bayern Munich and Harry Kane.
Congratulations, Harry Kane. Not Bayern Munich, Harry Kane.
Sorry, Harry Kane. Yinka, let's go to Serie A. Will Napoli bottle it? Will they bottle the Scudetto?
Akin, at least this season, this weekend, they did not.
No, they did not.
I think they almost did. I think they won narrowly. I can't. When I checked the score, it was 0-0. Yeah, they won 1-0. Yeah, they won 1-0. Inter also won 1-0. So it's a problem because Napoli, if they lose a game, the goal difference is in favor of Inter Milan.
Plus 10 Inter Milan.
It's way in favor of Inter Milan. Yeah. So Napoli, it's in their hands. They just win. They need to win out for the rest of the season, right? And we've gone through the fixtures that they had. I think we did last week, Akin.
We did.
Those fixtures are not tough. They're not tough. They are games they should win. Yeah. So it's in their hands. My money is on Napoli to win at this point. Yeah. And for them, next season, if they still have Conte in charge, he will struggle. But they will be mid-season the next because he will fight with everybody. He will fight with everybody. It's second nature to him. That's what's gonna happen. But I think Napoli will win this.
Conte usually has his honeymoon period is part of one season. He has success his second season. This time it looks like his success is going to come his first season. And then by his third season, everybody wants him out and he wants out and he's gone. That's his MO. But this man is still one of the best coaches around. It's quite amazing. It's hard. It takes the hard road. Playing this defensive game is really tough. But that's the road it takes. They've only conceded 25 times in 35 matches, but they've also only scored 55 times, while Inter have scored 73 times. Atalanta have scored 71 times.
And their player of the season has been Scott McTominay. McTominay,
it's quite amazing.
He's been amazing, amazing. Yeah. I don't know what that says. Is it about him, about Napoli, about Conte, about the Serie A, or says about United? Because he looked the part at United also, but they just wanted something more.
No, it did.
And you look at who the people they got, and you're like, they're not more. They're not better than Scott.
Yeah.
But anyway, good luck to Napoli. I'm rooting for them. I want Conte to win. I really want Conte to win.
So, I mean, AC Milan are my Serie A team, right? I mean, you know why. That's what we grew up on. But Conte is a crazy man, but I like him. But I
crazy
like
is an understatement, Aki.
That's true. I love this Inter squad. Yinka, I love this Inter squad. This is how you build a squad, without spending a ton of money. I think Inter are the most impressive squad in Europe, just based on what they're getting out of players compared to what they put into those players. Again, Martinez may not work anywhere else. If you move Martinez to any of the top 4, top 5, top 6 teams in England right now, he may fail. But he knows how to prosecute that Serie A and Europe. I mean, it's unconventional. I don't even know what his position. Do you know what his position is? His best position, Inka?
Striker, I guess.
Okay, any kind of forward, because
any kind of forward.
Is he a 9.5 or 10.5 or 8.5? What is it?
Do you know how confusing this guy is? It's even confusing for the Argentine national team. They don't know where to play him.
Very true.
They don't know where to play him. So what Inter have just done is, you know what? We have this guy. If we play to his strengths, he can coordinate with any big man that is next to him, and he will deliver us goals. This is the same template they used when Lukaku was next to him. They just replaced Lukaku with Thuram. That's just it. So let's build our team around this guy and let's make things work. And it's working for them. Yeah. Will any other team be willing to do that and build their team around Lautaro Martinez? I don't think so.
It's tough.
He's a good finisher. He pops up here and there, finishes, but he's a 9.5. I mean, if you get what I mean. He's not a top striker. I don't know. It's just there on the pitch. You just pop up at the odd time, put the ball in the back of the net. You might not see him for the rest of the game. You might not see him.
Yeah.
But it will be unfortunate though that Inter will then lose out and not win any trophy this season. That is if they lose to Barca and Napoli end up winning. And this will be, I think that this squad and the coach, I think they deserve something. If you get what I mean.
But that's what I'm saying. Again, I hate to keep going back to Arsenal. That's why I'm not bothered by the story of, if you don't win anything, it's a failure. That's not how it works. The journey, for me, the journey matters more than the destination. It doesn't change the fact that they built a great squad at Inter.
Yep.
Sometimes things don't work out. And sometimes you need to tweak a little bit. Don't just shut down the noise. Go into next season. Don't be stubborn. You know where you missed it, and it is what it is. You need a striker that can do volume. Right now, there's no striker at Inter that is in the top 3. And number 3 is Ademola Lookman with only 14 goals. 14 goals is not a lot. And you know what I mean? You're not in the top 3. Why? Why are you not in the top? Why can't you get 14 goals out of any of your strikers? So there's things they can do. But Inka, let's leave that behind. Let's get to our worthy mentions.
Yes, sir.
Let's do an NBA playoff update very quickly. Nika, I'm going to start by saying I think a best of 7 in the first round is ridiculous. We've now spent, this is our third episode talking about the NBA first round. And the first round is not done yet. And we spent 3.
But it'll be done. It'll be done today. It'll be done today, Akin. No vex.
I know. It needs to go from best of 7 to best of 3. Don't even go back to the best of 5. Go to best of 3. You had 82 games. People would take you more seriously if you take yourself more seriously.
Akin, but the only reason why you're saying this is because you are. I know you're part of the ecosystem, but you're not really there. The more games, the more tickets. People are still coming to watch.
It's a money grab. It's a money
grab, and they are grabbing the money. Why would they now? Because Akin from Omana believes it's too long. Hey, come on now.
But what are you? You know who doesn't make money from the playoffs? We've talked about this.
Who?
The players.
But do see? I know they don't literally make money. Yeah. But if you ask the players too, which is more important, the playoffs or the regular season, what would they tell you?
Then you need to change the incentive structure. Now they're cheating.
They themselves, the players will tell you it's the playoffs.
But I'm an observer, right? I'm an observer. I'm an unbiased observer. I don't have money in it, and I don't have my career dependent on it. So I can see clearly. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right? They're cheating the fans. Both sides are cheating the fans. Right? So when we give our money to the networks and they give the money to the NBA, right? They're paying based on 82 games, right? And then the playoffs is gravy for everybody except the players. I don't care about the players, right? I'm not crying for them. They make, like we've talked about, they make a lot more money than anybody else.
They're not complaining. That's all I'm saying.
I'm complaining.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm complaining because why are you spending?
Continue to complain.
No, but why are you spending 2 weeks? Why are you spending 2 weeks on your first round, Yinka?
Okay, so Akin, good discussion point. We can keep that for another day and trash that out. I don't have a problem with that. I don't. Yeah, but just to wrap up. So let's just really talk about this. The Lakers were gentlemanly swept. Right, so all the Shannon Sharp saying Lakers in 5. So actually, it meant Lakers will be out in 5, not in 5. Yeah, and it just shows you playoffs is about matchups, right? Rudy Gobert, right, dumped the Lakers. It wasn't Ant-Man.
In one game. That was just one game.
But that was the pivotal game.
I know, but the 4 games it did nothing.
So it did nothing. No, but this is what Akin happened. This is what happened, Akin. And I watched all of them. Yeah,
I watched them. Go on.
They started flashing. What's his name? Ant-Man. They were doubling him, right? And at that point, Gobert was just all by himself in the paint, under the rim, after a couple of passes. Yeah, you get what I'm saying? So it was because in those other games they decided to let Ant-Man do his thing, and Ant-Man dropped 40 was it in game 3 or game 4 or so, and 30 something in the other games. You understand? But in this particular one, right, they decided we won't let Ant-Man do his thing. Let the rest of you beat us. And guess who stepped up to beat them? It was Rudy Gobert. It was offensive rebound after offensive rebound. He had a 20-20 game.
Yeah.
In a playoff decider.
Yeah.
So goes back to my point. JJ Redick, a rookie coach, decided I'm going to go small against a player that doesn't have any offensive skill set per se, but his team realized that and they changed and they're like, okay, nobody, just once they double Ant-Man released the ball soon enough. If you pass the ball fast enough, the Lakers players are not faster than the ball. The ball will eventually get to Rudy Gobert under the basket, who's just going to slam dunk it. That's what happened in the decider game. Yeah? So, and I think Redick, JJ, number one, rookie coach. Number two, I think there's a subtle message in here to the hierarchy.
I know.
I told you all to get me a center. You said I should manage Jackson Hayes, who the only thing he can do The only threat he offers is his lob threat. He's a horrible defender. He's a horrible rebounder. The only thing he's there for is a lob threat for Luka. That's not what I wanted. I wanted Mark Williams, right, who offered the same thing Jackson Hayes offered and had at least some refined offensive game.
But he failed
and was
physical.
A good rebounder.
He failed his physical. Williams failed his physical.
But he played the rest of the season at Charlotte, Aki.
Okay.
So how can someone
did you see his tweet
and play the rest of the season? There's something else they're not telling
after the Lakers got dumped.
That's what
did you see his tweet?
If you fail your physical, you can't go back to your club and then play the rest of the season. He played the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Something happened. I don't know what it is. But anyway, so Lakers are out. The last game in round 1 is Rocket Warriors today.
No. Time out. I got 3 things to say about the Lakers.
Yes, sir.
We said we're going to do rapid fire. This is my rapid fire on the Lakers. LeBron needs to retire. He looks old. His gray was like my gray. He needs to go. Luka gave some ammunition to the people who defended his trade. Okay. And he gave some ammunition to punch, the Lakers with for getting rid of a big man for him. He looked bad. He did not play defense. It looked awful. He was complaining about calls while, the opponent was going the other way to score and playing 5 against 4 because you were under the other basket complaining. That was terrible. I heard something on Coward this past week. And it was from an article that Coward was referencing. His rookie year, he dunked 25 times. Luka dunked 25 times in his rookie year. In the last 2 seasons, he's dunked twice. Twice in the last 2 seasons. Right? So, again, that tells you his body's breaking down. It doesn't look fit. It looks like James Harden. He's like earthbound. No lift. Go ahead, Ika.
Okay. So I agree with your LeBron take, right? I don't care if you're 40. If you're collecting that amount of money, you need to deliver that the value, that money that do you understand? Yeah. If you can't deliver that value for the money you're collecting, then retire. You can't have it both ways. You can't have a bad game and say, but he's 40. No, but he's collecting that stupid amount of money. So I agree on the LeBron take. The reason why LA, if I'm listing out the reasons why LA lost, Luka is not in my top 5, right? Luka had a decent
series. Defense is.
No, hold on. He had a decent series, right? In game 3, he had food poisoning. He shouldn't have played, right? In the deciding game, he hurt his back, and he should not have come out afterwards, right? So I'm going to give him some pass. In the games that he played, he was the only bright spot for Lakers. Do you understand? Right? So you already know you didn't bring him for his defense. And frankly, Akin, he wasn't really exploited. The people that killed LA, right, was his name? Ant-Man in one game, and at no point was Luka the primary defender for Ant-Man. Yeah? Point was Luka the primary defender for Ant-Man. That's one. And what's his name? Julius Randle. Julius Randle gave it to Braun. Braun was more of a defensive liability in this series than Luka was. But Braun would do one flashy defensive play and the whole world would believe, Braun still plays defense. Braun played crap defense this series, Aki. Yeah? So I get the whole Luka whatever, but yeah, I agree with you. But was he the reason why LA got swept gentlemanly? I don't think so. It's not in my top 5. But that Braun take that you had, Akin, I totally agree with you. You can't have it both ways. Anyway, so let me quickly wrap up the NBA bit. So what you then have, the second round that started today. Cavs Pacers are actually playing right now. Pacers are leading, is in the 4th quarter. Then that's in the East. Then the second game in the East is Knicks Celtics. Your Knicks, they beat the Pistons 4-2 eventually. Happy for your Knicks. On the other side, the Clippers are out. The Nuggets beat them. So it's Thunder Nuggets, which is going to be a very, very interesting game. Then we're waiting for the Rockets Warriors to determine who's going to play Timberwolves. So that's the quick run through the NBA playoffs, and we'll keep you all posted as the games go by. Okay.
All right. Thank you, Inka. That was great. Luton got relegated from the championship. Do we care?
I think they were the main teams. Not the main team, but we loved them when they came to the Premiership.
Yeah.
And we thought, with their style of play, they.
Yeah.
No, I don't. It was just surprising that you had back-to-back relegation.
It's not good.
You had back-to-back promotion, then you had back-to-back relegation.
Yeah.
How does that work?
What's going on with them? Something is broken.
I'm just sad for them.
Yeah, something's broken at the club. Did they keep the manager that we liked?
I agree.
Do you know?
Yeah.
Did they keep him?
No. They didn't keep him.
Yeah. Maybe that's the problem.
Maybe
that's the problem.
Maybe that's the problem, right? I think that the way they approached the EPL, the EPL kind of affected them, yeah. And I don't know what happened to them in the championship, but it's sad for them.
Yeah.
Okay. It was just surprising. Yeah.
So we're gonna do a quick segue. Burnley and Leeds are returning to the EPL, so they got the 2 automatic spots. Let me talk about Burnley real quick. Yinka, who's the manager of Burnley?
Right now?
Yeah.
I think it's is it not this guy? What's his name? Scott. What's his name again?
Scott Parker.
That was at Fulham.
Scott Parker of the 3,000 pound cardigans and perfectly coiffed hairstyle, the most over promoted white man that ever lived. Right? He's going to grace the sideline of an EPL team again. And of course, I watched the video in the locker room after they got promoted. It was all about him, and he was making all his speeches and whatever. I'm just like, this dude, I do not want to watch this guy. But he's going to come in. I can tell you right now, they're going to get relegated again. This is what he does. He promotes and then he relegates. So congratulations, Burnley. You're going down next season. This time next year, they're probably going to get relegated.
Surprising bit.
Yeah.
The surprising bit is both of them had 100 points.
Yeah, but it's the money.
Both of them.
The EPL money.
100, Burnley 100.
If you manage your money, the parachute payments, and you keep the core, you're going to lose 1 or 2 stars. If you can keep the core, renegotiate your contracts, pay people with your parachute payments, fire some staff, consolidate, get a good manager, get a good style.
Yeah.
You can come back quickly within 3 seasons. You can. But the problem is the money is so big now in the EPL that when you come back, you're a candidate for relegation right away. It's really hard. It's hard to keep up with the EPL. The money is too good in the EPL.
Because I go through this list of teams in the championship, and at a point in time, most of them have had a stint in the EPL.
Absolutely.
Right, and they just put up and they're back again.
Absolutely.
So Sheffield United, Sunderland, Blackburn, West Brom, Middlesbrough, Swansea, Wednesday, Norwich, Watford, QPR. These are teams that played,
Yes. In the last 15 years.
It's just ridiculous. Anyway, congratulations to Leeds and Burnley. Yeah, congratulations to Leeds and Burnley. 100 points is a lot. Because there are 46 games in it. That means they really beat the park. Now, my hope is, I love Leeds. I think Leeds deserve to be. They're a big club in the true sense of the word.
Big city, big club.
They deserve to be. Big city, big club. They need to be in the EPL. They need to get it right this time around. You can't go back again. You can't go back again. Yeah? Anyway.
All right. Yinka, do you have a donkey of the week? Or you have an unpopular opinion? I see that on our agenda. What do you have? Speak to us.
Donkey of the week. I'm in a holiday mood. Let it skip. I was going to give it to the Arsenal fans, but you know what? I'll let it slide.
Okay, I will give it to them. I will give it to them. And the justification is everything we said in the A block. That's the justification. The worst fans in the world. But go on.
Yeah, they deserve it. And for popular opinion, I actually had one. It has to do with this relegation, right? And I think you don't like this. I think we've discussed this before outside of the podcast. You know what they do in the Bundesliga, where there's a playoff between the relegation people in the Bundesliga and the Oberliga, Division 1 in Germany and 2. The bottom 2 guaranteed, then to relegate, then the third to the bottom. You are going to play the third to the third position in the other side. I'm going to even take it a step further. Let everybody play each other, right? Because frankly, all this nonsense that happens that y'all are just going up and down, maybe we should decide if somebody is worthy of coming to the EPL. Let's have a playoff. Let them play. Let them play each other and decide who stays or who stays in the relegation. Yeah.
Okay. So I don't like that. That last one I don't like. Let me tell you, I don't like playoffs in general, right? And Yinka, let me remind you that you believe that tournament ball is different from league ball.
Yes.
Okay, so I don't like mixing them, right? I think
fair point.
Let the tournament be the tournament, and let the league be the league. And if you don't appreciate or believe that, think about the yo-yoing that Arsenal is doing right now. Great-ish in the Champions League until last week, right? Without blemish in the Champions League. Struggling in the league, struggling for them, right? Think about what Spurs and Man U are doing right now. Trash in the league, number 13 and number 14, in the, one leg in the final of, the next tier of European competition. It's two different. And then look at what Chelsea, that's the worst one. Chelsea is like, we're going to have 3 teams. One of them is going to play in the league. One's going to play in the domestic cups. And the third one is going to play in this thing that we don't want to play in. But we can't withdraw because we don't want to get fined. Yeah, we don't want to get fined. We can't withdraw. So we use it. All the people, don't send them on loan. Let them just play the conference. It's crazy, Yinka. So this is what there are 3 options here, right? One is your last one. 3 versus 3. I don't like that. I think the money, especially in the EPL, in other places it may work. They may be closer, but in the EPL, Southampton is a lot. Southampton will beat up on whoever it is that is number 3 they will beat up on them. The money, the golfing money is too much.
You never know.
For their survival,
make that's all they need to do. Southampton go there, they go to Southampton.
Yinka, if that's what they need to do.
Bundesliga.
Yeah, but if that's what they need to do, they're staying. They will stay.
Just the way they do it in the Bundesliga.
Yinka, if that's what they need to do to stay, they will stay. Trust me.
They will survive. You mean Southampton, right?
They will survive. They're like, I have to play one game. Oh, I got this, right? Because the resources are there. And then they would have made different choices in January, right? By January, they knew they were getting relegated. Yeah. If they knew they had a lifeline, they would have made different choices, right? So I don't like that one. I also don't like the current one, right? Where from the championship, the top 2 are I think the top 3 is automatic. That you play enough games.
Top 3 is automatic.
I want the top 3 to just go. I don't want playoffs. Because 46 games is enough.
No,
that's what I'm saying.
That playoffs is fun. That playoffs is fun. No.
See, it's fun. It's fun, but these are people's livelihoods. It's people's livelihoods.
I don't like chance. But that's the rule now. It's not chance. From day one, if they change the rule mid-season, it's a completely different thing. But from day one that if you don't make the top 2, if you're within, so there's a league within the league. There are people fighting to get into that playoffs. There are people fighting to get, because see, if it is just the top 3 qualified, that means there's only one thing people will be fighting for. Let me get into the top 3.
But it's the biggest thing.
Different fights.
It's the biggest
different fights within.
I don't like this artificial.
You are just a Debbie Downer.
No,
I want excitement. I want things that
you can't I can make my own excitement. I don't need anyone to come and titillate my senses. Like I can make football is enough. Every football game is enough excitement for me. I don't like this artificial fireworks or whatever. I don't like it.
Do you watch those playoffs? Do you watch the playoffs?
No.
In the championship?
No. Because they're not the best. Not the best. They're not the best teams, Yinka. The best teams have already gone. Why am I watching number 6 in the championship? Why am I watching number 6 in the championship?
Is the same reason why, right? You know, sometimes the quality of the football might not be at whatever. It's not every game is Barcelona, Real Madrid. Not every game is Arsenal, City, Liverpool, Arsenal. But even the game will be exciting because of what's at stake. Do you understand? Right? And those games, right? Those games are fun. I won't lie to you. I don't miss them. The qualification, the playoffs to come into the championship, the playoffs to come into the EPL, I crossed it off in my calendar. I watch them. Those games are interesting.
You have no, what's the word I'm looking for? You have no stake in it. You don't care.
Call me football Ashawu now, if you want to.
But you have no stake in it.
The people that are there, the people that have stake in it, they are as interested also. You know where they play these games? They play it in Wembley.
Yeah, Wembley. I know. But Yinka, you've played 46 times.
We're going to Wembley. We're going to Wembley.
Okay, Yinka.
Imagine, but you know the sad part?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. The Burnley that came second, they're not going to get a trophy. But the person that win the playoffs get a trophy.
Dumb. But Yinka, that's dumb. So for me, right, this is the what do you call?
Ridiculous though.
No, this is that's the word I'm looking for. The everybody gets a trophy phenomenon, right? Like when you lose, you haven't really lost. I don't like that part of it. I need real jeopardy. Real jeopardy. Like Yinka playing 46 times is not moi moi. When you've played 46, Yinka, what is the best way to crown a champion? If you want to know who the best team in the land is it 8 games, 8 high-profile games, or is it 46 games over 1 year?
So that that's open to argument. You can argue.
Really?
You can argue. Yeah, you can argue to and fro, right? For that.
How?
What I'm saying is this: if at the beginning of the season the laws have been laid down, a tournament can take any format.
Forget that. You're deflecting. Forget that. In your own opinion, what is the best way to crown a champion over a season? We've set we've said July 15 to May 17. Who is the best team? What's the best way to do it? Is it play throughout?
I don't know. You can play throughout and take the top 4 and say after that the top 4 you all play against each other. Whoever wins.
Top 4. Everybody has played everybody else home and away. What else do we want to judge? That's the best team.
Baby, okay, once again, you say context, you say nuance, you say all this stuff, right? Okay. So maybe all through the season there were things that happened. For example, refereeing decisions. This, that. Someone was injured. Da. So to avoid any doubt on who really is the top of the class. Okay, so why not after everybody was put in the pool in the Champions League?
Yeah.
Right? Why didn't they say Liverpool was the winner?
Okay, Inka, fine. We have to put a pin in this and wrap because that would take. So let's quickly wrap. Inka, take us out.
All right, people. We'll continue this discussion next week, Aki. Since I see that you have a lot to say about it, we'll put it in the agenda next week. All right, guys. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for hanging with us. We really enjoyed this. We anticipated or we thought we might have tech issues, but surprisingly, it's been all good. Fingers crossed for the next 2 seconds or 5 seconds that we have. Thank you very much, guys. Continue to like, subscribe, let your friends know about us. Send us questions so that we can answer them. Thanks to our number 1 fan who sent in the question today. Yes. Thank you for that. We look forward to more questions from you guys. We really do appreciate it. Thank you very much, guys, and we'll talk to you all next week. Akin.
Thanks, Yinka. Thanks, everybody. We will see you next week, and goodbye.